Well, it was a big day today on Wall Street. The Dow closed up 109 points, closing at 17,266. The Nasdaq and S&P posted just over 0.5% in gains. Also, Larry Ellison, founder of tech giant Oracle, announced that he is stepping down. And here to talk about what this month's going to be like for San Diego business are John Nienstedt from Competitive Edge Research and Dino Dioria is a chief banking officer as well.
John and Dino, thank you for being here today. I think one of the overall themes we saw is the county's business outlook is, a little more optimistic, but this issue looming over us of the minimum wage increase is really creating a lot of anxiety, especially for city businesses.
Yeah, well, larger firms, hospitality firms are much more negative than the overall. If you're in that business, you're not so positive. Other businesses, fairly positive. We've seen a bounce since last month.
So the forecast reflected that bounce, but what about the future? What about going forward? What kind of impact are you anticipating as we go forward with this minimum wage hike?
Well, minimum wage has now hit higher. More people are more business people in the business community are more excited about that, more see it as a challenge than Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. When we were testing that, this is much more of an issue than that was. So that's a real city-specific issue, as we mentioned before, that is increasing in importance.
You mentioned that it's a city-specific issue, and businesses didn't seem to be reflecting it county-wide, that they were too worried about that issue. But shouldn't they be? I mean, there's been a lot of speculation, well, businesses could leave and head to the county areas or vice versa.
The state's minimum wage increased, and it's increasing again. Folks aren't focused on that. They're more focused within the city on the minimum wage increase that's been passed and now is going to probably go to a referendum.
Dino, are there any particular business sectors that are going to be more impacted by that minimum wage hike than others?
Like John said, with the hospitality sector or retail sector. So if you think about it, places that pay the minimum wage, where you're going out to get a burger or, they might have lower level paid jobs, that's going to be affected. And I think people are more aware because you've had people walking up to you asking you to sign a petition this month, and so the word's really out.
You've been talking to businesses about how this issue is going to affect their bottom line, basically. Are there any solutions that they're thinking to kind of work around and maybe see, more positive impact?
I think for businesses that are affected, everything's on the table. Automation,
right, that's
cutting back employment. As a matter of fact, our employment numbers look even. The bounce up has occurred only because revenues are projected to be better, not because employment is going to get better. So I think they're taking that into consideration.
Dino, how concerned are you that the wage hike would affect some businesses to the point that they would move out of San Diego?
It's always a concern. Fortunately, San Diego has a pretty diverse economy, and there's a lot of businesses that, they don't necessarily get affected by that. A lot of my client base is looking forward to the reflection of their better revenue outlook. I think that's reflected as I'm talking to businesses around the county. I get a lot of optimistic, forward thinking. They're coming to us to expand their credit lines because they need to produce more goods and services to meet those demands out there.
Yeah, I saw some really good return on projected revenue outcomes, which is exciting to see. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah.